Hey coaches, so per our team call last night and noticing that, some people are still struggling with, making their posts just look nice and presentable and just appealing to the eye. And again, I'm no expert at this. I strictly learned from other coaches. When I came onto this team, again, I never posted on Facebook. My personal Instagram, if you go look at it, it kind of sucks. So I had to learn these things. And one of my favorite apps that I learned from one of my coaches, Amy, is Photofy. And I know a lot of Beachbody coaches use Photofy and they love it. And so I just want to teach you. And this app is available on Android and iPhone. So it's great. And I believe it costs $1.99. I could be wrong. I know there's a small fee to the app. And then there's just a small fee to removing the watermark that says Photofy on the bottom right, which I hate watermarks. I hate it when they do it, but obviously, they want that extra dollar to remove it. So anyway, this is what the app looks like on the bottom left corner, Photofy. And so this is what it looks like. So you can capture a photo. Usually I have whatever photo I want to edit already preloaded. So you can create awesome collages and you can also create photos. Just so it's either choose photo or create collages. I'm going to show you how I do both with two recent posts that I made recently. So here it goes. And I could differ the post. I'm just letting you know that I'm not going to go back and look at what I posted, but I'll just show you what I would do with each photo. And I will not, I probably won't complete one of them just so I don't take up too much of your time, but you get the basic idea. So, um, actually, you know what? I'm going to show you two apps. So you're going to get a 2 for 1, okay? So real quick, there's an app called Afterlight, which is $1.99 in the Apple Store. And here, this is so important, especially for lightening your photos. So for instance, I'm going to show you how I lighten this photo. And I'm also going to photofy this photo as well. And so I use these two apps simultaneously together, always. So let's take my original photo, which is this one. And I took up the performance line. It looks nice, but I want to make the colors brighter. So I go over here, so I click on this little bar, and then right here, the first one, and I'll just play around with these. And this is all trial and error. It depends on the photo. It's never going to be the same every time. But basically, you can clarify the colors. So I'll bring up the clarify a little bit. Then I'll brighten it slightly, just very slightly. Sometimes it looks better if you darken it. You just never know. Like in this case, I would darken it just a tiny bit. Then contrast, bringing up the contrast will bring out, you know what contrast means. And then saturation, I really like to bring out the colors very slightly. And I always, if you scroll all the way to the right, I always sharpen my photos. And I like to bring up the sharpness very high. And it just gives it that clearness to the picture and just makes it almost look like a professional camera took the photo. At least this is what I would think a professional camera would look like. And so there's so many features and you just have to play around with it. But Afterlight is my main app that I will edit every single photo I ever take first with Afterlight, okay? So once we save that, we're done. You just push on camera roll, and I won't save this because I already made this photo, but you'd push on camera roll or you can share it straight to Instagram, and I would always make sure the image resolution is at its highest. So now that we have that photo, and I do this for all my photos. So the collage that I'm about to show you, so I'm going to show you a progress photo collage. So the progress photos is usually the two vertical side by side. So it's the very first layout that I see up here. So I'll click on that. And then I bring up this little transformation thing, whatever that my like July progress photos that I decided to share on my Instagram and my Facebook. So the first one's on the right. So I'm going to click that first whatever photo and see how in the bottom left corner it shows which side of the layout that picture is going to show up on. So I want the before on the left, as usual. We like the before on the left, the right on the after. And then I'll click the next photo that I want, and as you can see on the bottom, it shows me that will be on the right side. So it goes in that kind of order. So I would click next. And then right away I have my two photos. Everything looks nice. So the first thing that I would do is I would make sure that the zoom of myself is the same. So I would zoom in slightly on the left photo just to make sure that I'm kind of standing in the same, it's the same position, but the same zoom as well. It's just more visually appealing that way. And what I don't like, or at least what I like more about collages, is I like to take the border out. And it just looks nicer to me. You can keep the border in, but it also makes the pictures bigger. And I don't know, there's just something about taking the border out. So I would scroll, you see it says photo editing. I would scroll to the right, I would click on border, and I would take down the size completely. And then I would apply that, and then I would kind of move the photos just a little bit. Okay. And as you can see on the photo editing, you can do the same things as Afterlight here. I just like to use Afterlight because I'm used to it, but I guess you can sharpen, you can do brightness, contrast, saturation. As you can tell, Photofy is your app for literally everything. Now, the next thing I would do is go to text and overlays, and this is where you can add really cool text. So what Photofy has, if you click on artwork, it has preloaded text. Most of them are free. Actually, I would say about half of them are free, half of them you have to pay for. But when you pay for them, it's really cheap. It's like $1.99, and you can unlock from 300 to like 1,000 images. Like you'll just unlock. See the ones that have lock signs? So these are all locked. Mostly I will go and type in fitness. You can even type in the categories if you're not finding it right away. As you can see, all these are free and they're really cool, and you just click on them and it adds to your photo, and it's just so great. And I love Photofy. It's just, you don't have to be creative. The creativity is freaking done for you. Like, how cool is that? So I don't want to add any preloaded text. I want to add my own text this time to this photo, just so I can write, in this case I'll just write before, after, and then I'll watermark it for Instagram purposes so that nobody can steal this photo and claim that it was them. So, and that's very important, especially if you're using Instagram or Facebook. I don't know if you guys know who Kenna Shell is. She's one of our upline coaches, and she has one of the most amazing transformations that is stolen by every single freaking company that there ever existed for weight loss. Besides Beachbody, like everyone steals her photo. So I don't want that to happen to me. So making sure that your photos are watermarked is very important, but you don't want to plaster watermarks, all across your photos and make the photo uglier. So I'll show you how to make, like, I learned this from Amy, and I like the way she watermarks her photos. So this is how I would do it. So I click on text, and then I type to enter text, and so I will do my Instagram name. That's Catherine Z Fitness. Apply it. And then, as you can see, there's so many fonts preloaded in here. And I mean, you can make this so fancy and so pretty. My favorite font at the moment is Amatic. And so I will actually make this bigger so it stretches across my photo. But I don't want this watermark to block, the photo. So what I'll do is I will go to Format. I'll scroll down, and you see where it says opacity. I will bring that down and kind of fade it so you can see my watermark, and you can still read it, but it's not completely covering, everything that I want people to see in my photo. And another thing you can do is you can take the watermark if you want it to be more opaque. So you go back to edit, format. Let's pretend I want to bring that up. Sometimes you can add a shadow to it, like a black shadow, and make it stand out across all colors. So notice the difference between having a shadow and not having a shadow. Sometimes I'll turn on the shadow and sometimes I won't. It literally depends. You have to play around with this app. Like, you have to venture off on your own and see what works and what doesn't for you, and kind of create your own brand through Photofy. And so sometimes, if you want to add a watermark like this, it's totally fine. Add it somewhere over here. Just keep in mind that some companies and some shady people will crop it out. So just, it's nicer to have it somewhere where if you can't really crop it out like that. So pretend I'm just going to leave it like that. And I like the way it is. Okay, so apply. Click to the side. That will just stay there. Now I want to add July. So I do the text again. Let's pretend I wanted to write before and after. Okay, before. And then let's do a different text. Let's do this text. Why not? Before, just put it on my feet. And then after, apply. There we go. I just do it right there. And that's it. That's all I would do for this photo. Notice that both photos are already edited from Afterlight. That part is done, and I make sure that it's always edited because I want the colors in my photos to look nice. Like I want my photos to be scroll stoppers. So when people are scrolling down their news feeds or down Instagram, I want them to stop in my photo and take a look at it. So it has to be attractive, it has to be bright, nothing messy, just really like crisp, clear images. And so in order to save it, you would click on the top right. You see where it shows like a square with an arrow. So when you click on that, it automatically saves to your phone. And I don't want to save this photo because I already have it saved the way I like it. So I'm just going to push the home button on the left corner and just start all over and show you my next image, okay? So the next thing I wanted to show you is something that I made with the performance line last night. I took the photo with my phone. You saw how I edited in Afterlight. So I would go to choose photo, and then it would be this photo right here. So notice how it's zoomed in, and I don't want it to zoom in. I don't want it to be cropped this way. So what I would click on is crop and aspect, and I would click on none, apply, and that way I can see my whole photo. And the border that you're seeing right now, the black border, is not going to be there when you save the photo, just so you know. If you click on no crop, it's going to save the full photo exactly how you want it. Now, in this case, so what I did is exactly how you saw in my collage. I went to text, I typed in energize and then pre-workout, and I clicked apply. And so I found I really liked, let's see, I really liked just another hand, apply. But because the white text and all text, when I make it smaller, oops, and in order to make it smaller, you just click on it, and of course it's, there we go. And you see those arrows on the bottom right? You just click on it, and it's kind of like a pinching, like you would for an iPhone, pinch in, pinch out. I would make it smaller, and then it doesn't really stand out as well as I wanted to. So what I'm going to do is click the edit at the top right there, go to format, and give it a, oh, sorry, that was the color. Go to shadow and click on the black to give it a nice black shadow. Notice how much more that stands out. I mean, it's pretty amazing. So click apply. I'll make it just a tad smaller, move it to where I want to move it. And then in this, in this thing, I watermarked the system guide. So I put my email address and my Instagram name on it. And you can go on my Facebook right now or my Instagram account, Catherine Z Fitness, and see exactly where I put everything. But I want to make sure my contact info was in the photo in such a way that it's not salesy, but it looks like it's just part of the photo. So I did that. And then one thing that I want to show you is how I put the arrows pointing to each of the scoopers was going to artwork, going to search, arrow, search, and then I really liked this, I believe it was this arrow. And notice how these arrows, most of them are free. So I clicked this arrow. I gave it a shadow. Okay, so apply. And then I just moved it around and made it smaller. And then another way you can move things around is if you click on edit, you scroll down to rotation, and you can rotate it this way. And that way just makes it slightly easier without getting your big fingers like on your screen trying to move and manipulate a small object. It just gets really frustrating. So I will go like this probably, or I don't know how I did it. However I did it probably like that. And then I made the size, yeah, there we go. And so I went just like that. Okay, or slightly rotated. There we go. So that's how I would do it, and I would apply that, and I would just move on and do it again. So I click on text, I'll click on hydrate, which is the next one. Anyways, you guys get the point, right? So let me see if there's anything else I want to show you that Photofy can do. I'm blanking out. I knew I had something else to say. I don't think so. Anyways, so that is how I would go about that. Oh, also, no, I wanted to say something. So for in terms of artwork, I really like the either the motivation or the fitness. So notice like these really cool, pretty sayings. So for instance, let's do um, if it does not challenge you, does not change you. So this is the performance line, and we all know the performance line is all about. Hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. Excuse me. The performance line is all about challenging workouts. So this would, this would work well. I would put the shadow on in this case, and then I would click apply, and I would just make it smaller and move it around to wherever is needed. In some cases, maybe up here, it just looks, this looks nice, right? And in some cases, if the photo is very general or something that I don't like isn't too detailed, what I like to do often is make this quote bigger. I would take the shadow off. So hold on, how do I do this? Edit right here. I would make the shadow, I would take the shadow off. I would go down. Where do I want the shadow on? I don't know. Opacity. Oh, that's for the shadow. Okay. Opacity. So sometimes I will, this picture is way too detailed in this case. I'm just showing you a different scenario. Pretend like, I don't know, it's a picture of a landscape and I want to add a motivational quote. So I would just kind of fade the saying on top of the photo, and it's just like another little thing that you can do. And before I end this, let me just make sure there's nothing else I wanted to say. Let me see. So that was Photofy, that was Afterlight, and another app real quick that I combine with Photofy very often is the Photo Mirror. And Photo Mirror is, I have an iPhone, keep in mind. There's definitely mirror apps for Android. It could be the same one, it could be different. So again, mirror apps are very common, so you just you got to see what's available in your store. And so pretend I want to mirror this picture and I just want to do something, I don't know. So I pretend I want to put like a motivational quote in the middle. And so when you click on 2D, you can switch. You can do the reflections however you want. There's so many different options. Even this one looks kind of cool, but then my face is cut out. Pretend I want to do just this one, and I want to add a quote in the middle. See if I like this one better. No, I like this one better. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and you just click on save. And then I always, time and time again, I go back to Photofy. And so let me go to the home button and just start over. I don't want to save all these random photos. Pretend I want to do something about progress, or I don't know. Oops. Okay, so I go to artwork, and let's see what they have for progress. And you can search any word. Strive for progress, not perfection. I've used this before. And so I want to set this in the middle. I don't know, somewhere over here. And I'll usually put up the shadow just so it stands out a little better, and I'll move it around. You know what I mean? Like you just have to see what works for you, what works for your photos. It's going to be a different case scenario every time. But yeah, so this is how I would use Photofy, and so I hope that helped you. If, let me know if there's any other questions you have for me, or let me know if there's any other tutorials I can help you with, or even, find one of my photos on my Facebook or my Instagram account and just ask me how I did it, and I'll let you know exactly what apps and what features I used. And, the point is for us, coaches to share what works for us so that the success can be duplicated. And so we're more than happy to help you with photo editing. And again, this is just one tutorial of many. There's so many tutorials out there on YouTube from other coaches. You can find all kinds of info galore out there, so just be very resourceful. Check out what's out there, see what works for you, and start creating your own brand of photos. Okay, I hope that helped you guys. This is already like 20 minutes long, so I'm going to end it now. I hope you have a great day or a great night whenever you're watching this, and hope it helped. Bye!